Hello everyone, I'm here once again to share 5 more albums that to me are among the best hi-fi albums I have heard and I want to recommend to my fellow audiophiles. This is now the 15th episode of this series. These albums are not new releases, but I've only discovered some of them recently and to me they sound amazing. As always, I try to mix it up and pick from different genres as I know everyone have their own taste in music. I won't play a sample of the songs on these albums, but I will try to place a link on the description below where you can listen to the full album. So here we go in no particular order. First is Nils Lofgren's Acoustic Live. This is a live recording of American rock musician, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist Nils Lofgren's performance at the Barns of Wolf Trap in Vienna, Virginia, USA, held in January 1997. Nils Lofgren has been making albums for A&M Records since 1975, but he is best known as a sideman. You probably know him for his nice work on Neil Young's albums like After the Gold Rush as a member of Crazy Horse. You even more likely know him as that guitarist for Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band. Nils was that guy who did the backflips off a trampoline on the Born in the USA tour. But he has distinguished himself as a songwriter with memorable melodies, a singer with soothing voice, and best of all, a world-class guitarist. On this album, Nils Lofgren was unplugged and at his best performing alongside his brothers Tom, Michael, and Mark Lofgren and Paul Bell. The album features many of his most beloved songs, including Black Books, Keith Don't Go, No Mercy, and You. Recording engineer Ron Freeland did an amazing job recording the performance. This album has been often cited in radio magazines for its stellar sound quality and remains Nils' best album. It has gotten reputation in hi-fi circles because it is played at every single demo in just about every hi-fi store in 2000s, especially the track Keith Don't Go. You will definitely feel the vibe of the small venue with medium-sized crowd and imagine yourself listening to a great performance from the first or second row. Nils' voice and guitar has clarity and dynamics throughout with plenty of texture, definition, and separation. Next is Ease by Joanna Newsom. American singer-songwriter Joanna Newsom's second album was released in November 2006 and is considered her breakthrough album. Joanna is a childhood prodigy on the concert harp. The recording was handled by people who are well known to produce great records. She recorded bass vocal and harp tracks with musician and audio engineer Steve Albini. The former music critic and multi-instrumentalist turned engineer and producer, most famous for his work with Nirvana on In Utero. Van Dyke Parks, who is known for his collaborations with Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys, produced and arranged. They spent 6 months developing backing orchestral arrangements. Jim O'Rourke, an acclaimed musician, instrumentalist, composer, and record producer, does the mixing. The effect is outstanding and operatic and the orchestral parts never feel unnecessary. The dozens of strings and winds float in and out of the mix, truly accentuating Newsom's compositions without overwhelming her signature voice. On an interview with Stereophile magazine, Joanna said she has to master this record 11 times to get it to sound the way she wanted. Now I should say Joanna Newsom's music may be an acquired taste, and she sings in the kind of childlike voice you will either love or hate. But her songs are remarkable. They are richly melodic, they ebb and flow in anticipated directions, and the lyrics are fantastic. She has unique and powerful artistic vision, which endeared her with people across different musical spectrum, including audiophiles. Critics describe this album as dynamic, lush, and 100% engaging. Next is Kamasi Washington's The Epic. This triple album is the third studio album by American jazz saxophonist Kamasi Washington, released in May 2015. Kamasi Washington is an American arranger, composer, and jazz saxophonist. He is the founding member of the jazz collective West Coast Get Down, and he has played with a diverse group of musicians. And even if you're not interested in jazz, you might have heard of him as he was featured in Kendrick Lamar's album To Pimp a Butterfly. It was said that this triple album is his love letter to soul jazz, John Coltrane, and 1970s jazz fusion leaders like Miles Davis and Weather Report. This album lives up to its name. This is a 3-disc, 17 songs, 32-piece orchestra, 20-piece choir, 10-piece band monster of a jazz album. There is almost 3 hours of music here. But Kamasi has justified it because his artistic intent matches the grand production of this album. You can feel his confidence and virtuosity in saxophone playing on each of the 17 tracks. He used a large ensemble that includes a choir and string section. The tracks can be complex but are still accessible. Some people call it spiritual jazz. Every discipline is highlighted, from brass instruments, from voices, from strings, and from percussion. My favorite is his rearrangement of the classic Clair de Lune, which he turned into a gospel-inflected jazz classical mashup. The 3 hours playing time can be daunting, but there is no filler on this album. All the tracks are strong on their own and will be a great introduction of modern jazz to a new generation. And even if you already listen to a lot of jazz music, this album still sounds somehow new. Next is When I Look in Your Eyes by Diana Krall. This is the 5th studio album by Canadian singer Diana Krall, originally released in June 1999. The CD I have is an SACD released by Verb Records this year. This album won the Best Engineer Album on Non-Classical category in the Grammys, and Diana won Best Jazz Vocal. It was her 4th consecutive album working with acclaimed jazz producer Tommy Lipuma and his longtime collaborator, the late Al Schmidt. Tony Lipuma's production is credited for giving this album its intimate but playful vibe. This is also Diana's first recording for Verb, and she demonstrated her dual talents as a pianist and vocalist. She gave some classic jazz and blues tunes her own unique twist, such as Let's Face the Music and Dance, I Can Give You Anything But Love, and The Best Thing for You. She also has a seductive take on Cole Porter's I've Got You Under My Skin. The swishing of the drums and the delicate strains of the violins added depth and richness to the songs, and on some of the tracks she is backed by an orchestra. But it's the combination of Diana's fantastic piano playing and velvety voice that makes this an outstanding record. This CD has a detailed and lush sound, allowing listeners to hear the nuances of Diana's voice, the great instrumentation, and the excellent production. And last but not the least is Hotel California by Eagles. This is the 5th studio album by American rock band Eagles, released in 1976. The CD I have is an SACD released by Warner Music Japan in 2011. It is one of Eagles' most successful albums and has become one of the most iconic rock albums of all time. Number 38 on VH1's 100 Greatest Albums list in 2003. Number 37 on the Rolling Stones Greatest Albums list in 2012. It was also listed as one of 100 greatest albums to own on vinyl. It also has one of rock history's most iconic cover, the Beverly Hills Hotel on Sunset Boulevard, shot at dusk from a 60-foot high cherry picker platform. Everyone knows the band or have at least heard the track Hotel California. The album was recorded at Criteria Studios, Florida, and Record Plant Studios, California. Recording sessions at Criteria Studios were often disrupted by the noise from Black Sabbath working on Technical Ecstasy in the studio next door. Don Felder's unforgettable guitar solo on this title track is a standout, but the performances from the band's 3 guitarists are generally strong throughout the album. With the addition of Joe Walsh on guitar, the album's sound became heavier and more rock-influenced compared to the band's earlier country rock roots. The album's blend of introspective lyrics, addictive rhythm, and outstanding guitar solos, particularly the iconic dual intermingling solos on the title track, elevate it beyond a simple collection of songs. It marked a shift from the band's earlier country rock sound to a heavier, more rock-oriented style, cementing their legacy with timeless hits like Hotel California, New Kid in Town, and Life in the Fast Lane. Lead singer Don Henley said, "Every band has their peak. That was ours." And that's my 5 CDs that I will recommend on this part 15 of my series about best hi-fi albums for audiophiles. Keep in mind that these are a list of my favorite and recommended hi-fi albums and the music I use when auditioning hi-fi equipment. For my next one, I will be sharing albums that you recommended to me through the comment section of this series. This will be albums that you have recommended which I got the chance to try, and I want to share it with everyone as well. I hope you enjoy my selection and discover something new. Please continue letting me know your favorite and recommended hi-fi albums as well. Happy listening!